Well, have you seen this man? Clinton police say they are looking for 42-year-old Carlton Mack. He's wanted in connection with a deadly shooting from Monday night. 45-year-old Jasmin Singleton was found shot to death at a home on Cedar Hills Drive. Officials say Carlton is the victim's ex-boyfriend who has prior domestic violence arrests. If you know where he is, please call Clinton Police or Crime Stoppers.
Monday night, kitchen floor. A woman who finally found the courage to walk away, gunned down in her own home. And the man who couldn't let her go? He was already gone gold Tahoe, disappearing into the darkness. This is what happens when love turns into ownership. The fights that turned deadly. The red flags everyone missed. The unspoken words left unsaid until it was too late. The shadow behind the curtains unveiled, as we shine the light on shadowed stories that need to be told. This is Shadowed Crimes TV. Join us daily as we break down domestic violence cases. Hit the subscribe button and be part of the conversation that breaks the silence. Jasmin Singleton was 45 years old, and if you knew her light. This woman loved to sing not center stage, but right there in the background at karaoke nights, hyping up her sister Deandra, making everybody else sound better than they were. That was Jasmine, always lifting people up. She had 3 children, 3 reasons to wake up every morning and keep pushing, 3 reasons to make hard decisions when things got dangerous. And trust me, things got dangerous. Her friend, Christine Cody, had known Jasmine since high school. Christine did Jasmine's makeup, and she'd sit there with Jasmine's face in her hands, sculpting her eyebrows, creating whatever look Jasmine wanted that day. And the whole time, they'd talk, laugh, dream. Christine described her the same way everybody else did. Sweet, happy, loving, gentle, bright. That happy spirit that just made a room feel different when she walked in. But anyways, let's talk about Carlton Mack. 42 years old, Jasmine's ex-boyfriend. And when I say ex, I mean she had to fight to make him an ex. This man had a history prior domestic violence arrests. Not rumors, not gossip, actual arrests. The kind of record that should have been a neon sign flashing, "Danger, danger, danger." Jasmine's sister Deandra didn't sugarcoat it. She called Carlton exactly what he was. Violent, jealous. The type of man who believed that "till death do us part" applied even when you're not married, even when the relationship is over, even when she's begging you to just let her go. Deandra said it plain. He didn't want to let her go. So Jasmine made a choice. Months before that Monday night, she ended it. She broke up with Carlton Mack. Not because she stopped caring about him, that's the tragedy of it. She left because she had to protect her 3 children. She saw what he was capable of. She saw the red flags everybody tells you to watch for. And instead of ignoring them, instead of making excuses, instead of believing he'd change, she walked away. Girl, she did everything right. She spoke up. She left. She put her babies first. Jasmin Singleton became one of those success stories we're supposed to celebrate, the woman who got out before it was too late. Except it was already too late. She just didn't know it yet. Here's the thing about men like Carlton Mack. They don't accept rejection. They don't process breakups like normal human beings. In their minds, you belong to them. You're property. And when you try to leave, that's not you exercising your right to be safe and free. That's you disrespecting them, challenging them, embarrassing them. Deandra said Carlton was jealous. Not the cute kind of jealous where your partner gets a little pouty. The dangerous kind. The obsessive kind. The kind that makes a man keep tabs on you months after you've said goodbye. He couldn't stand the thought of Jasmine moving on, building a life without him. Being happy without him, raising her kids in peace without him. So what did he do? He made a decision. The most cowardly decision a person can make. Deandra put it perfectly. Instead of being a man, he was a coward. And that cowardice was about to cost Jasmine everything. Monday night, in Clinton, Mississippi, Cedar Hills Drive, the 900 block, Jasmin Singleton was home. Maybe she was cooking dinner. Maybe she was cleaning up. Maybe she was on the phone with one of her kids. We don't know the exact moment Carlton Mack showed up, but we know what happened next. Gunshots. Neighbors heard them. That sound you never forget once you've heard it in real life. Sharp, loud, unmistakable. The kind of sound that makes you freeze for a second before your brain catches up and tells you to move, to call 911, to do something. By the time anyone could react, a gold Chevrolet Tahoe was already tearing away from the scene. Gone. Inside Jasmine's home, on her kitchen floor, she was dying. The place where she probably fed her children breakfast that morning. The place where she likely stood laughing on the phone with her sister. The place where she should have been safe. But there's no such thing as safe when a man decides you're his to destroy. Jasmine, Singleton mother, sister, friend, the woman with the bright spirit and the beautiful voice, was found shot to death, 45 years old, gone. And Carlton Mack? He ran, like cowards do. Clinton police didn't waste time. They had a crime scene. They had witnesses who heard gunshots. They had people who saw that gold Chevrolet Tahoe speeding away like the driver had something to hide. And they had surveillance video. See, cameras don't lie. They don't forget details. They don't get confused about timelines. Whatever that surveillance footage showed, it pointed investigators in one clear direction: Carlton Mack. Now, Carlton wasn't some mystery man. He wasn't a stranger who appeared out of nowhere. Police knew exactly who he was. Jasmine's ex-boyfriend with a rap sheet that included prior domestic violence arrests. This wasn't his first time putting his hands on someone. This wasn't his first time making a woman fear for her life. So when they connected the dots, the breakup months earlier, his history of violence, his jealousy that Deandra had warned everyone about, and now Jasmine dead on her kitchen floor, it didn't take a genius to figure out who pulled that trigger. But here's the problem. Knowing who did it and catching who did it are two different things. Carlton Mack was in the wind, gone. And for the people who loved Jasmine, every hour he stayed free felt like another injustice piled on top of the ultimate injustice. Clinton police put out the alert. Have you seen this man? Carlton Mack, 42 years old. Wanted in connection with a deadly shooting. Wanted for taking Jasmin Singleton away from her 3 children. Her sister, her friends, her future. And they made it clear. This man is dangerous. This man has a history. If you see him, don't approach him. Call the police. But hey, Carlton couldn't hide forever. Not in Mississippi. Not with U.S. Marshals involved. Less than 24 hours after Jasmine's body was found, they got him, U.S. Marshals, working with Clinton police, tracked Carlton Mack down in Bolton. And just like that, the manhunt was over. The man who thought he could run after murdering his ex-girlfriend was now in custody, facing exactly what he deserved. Carlton Mack was charged with murder. Not manslaughter. Not some lesser charge that lets violent men off easy. Murder. And on top of that, possession of a weapon by a felon because apparently Carlton wasn't even supposed to have a gun in the first place.
A man suspected in the shooting death of his ex-girlfriend is in custody tonight. Clinton police, with help from U.S. Marshals, arrested Carlton Mack in Bolton. He's charged with murder and possession of a weapon by a felon in the shooting death of 45-year-old Jasmin Singleton Monday. Singleton was found dead on the kitchen floor at a home in the 900 block of Cedar Hill Drive. Witnesses said they heard gunshots and saw a gold Chevy Tahoe leaving the scene. Police say surveillance video confirmed that vehicle was owned by Mack. The Clinton Police Department continues to investigate this case.
Let me tell you something. A man with domestic violence arrests shouldn't have access to weapons. Period. But somehow, he got his hands on one anyway, and he used it to take Jasmine's life. The courtroom proceedings would come later, the lawyers, the testimonies, the legal back and forth that turns human tragedy into case numbers and court dates. But for Jasmine's family, none of that would bring her back. No verdict, no sentence, no amount of justice could undo what Carlton Mack did on that Monday night.
A voice full of light, silenced in the darkness. Only on 16 WAPT, the Clinton community is remembering a 45-year-old mother of 3 killed in her home. Jasmin Singleton was found shot Monday night. Her sister is heartbroken, her friends are in shock, and her accused killer is the man she once loved. Good evening and thanks for joining us here at 10. I'm Megan West.
And I'm Troy Johnson. As police begin to work their case, Jasmin Singleton's loved ones are demanding justice and sending a message to others trapped in the shadows of domestic violence. Speak up before it's too late. In a story you'll only see here on 16 WAPT, our own Brooklyn Joyner spoke with those who knew and loved her. She joins us live in Clinton tonight with what they shared. Brooklyn.
Troy, Megan, Jasmine's friends and family says that she should still be alive today. They said that they will always remember her kind and caring personality. The vibrant spirit of Jasmin Singleton gone too soon, but will always be remembered by those who loved her.
We did the karaoke, and she was the background singer to me.
Her sister, Deandra, is angry about her sister's murder as she shares memories of the 45-year-old's life.
Why would you do that to my sister? My only sister, my oldest sister.
Singleton was found shot to death on her kitchen floor in Clinton Monday night. Less than a day later, her ex-boyfriend, 42-year-old Carlton Mack, was arrested and charged for her murder.
You know the saying, to death do us part? That's what it was. He was jealous. He didn't want to let her go. So instead, being a man, he was a coward, and he took her away from us.
Deandra said Mack was a violent person, and Singleton broke up with Mack months ago to protect her 3 children.
She spoke up, but it wasn't enough.
Now Singleton's community is cherishing the memories they had with her, including her makeup artist who she had known since high school.
The whole time I have her face in my hands, and I'm sculpting her eyebrows, creating the look that she wants. She was always a sweet, happy, loving, gentle, bright, happy spirit.
Although Singleton lost her life, Deandra said she is proud of her sister for speaking up against domestic violence and encourages others to continue to do the same.
Everyone has to speak up. When you see these red flags, you have to speak up.
Deandra Singleton stood in front of cameras, her voice shaking with grief and rage, and asked the question that had no good answer. Why did you do that to my sister? My only sister. My oldest sister. She didn't get a response. Carlton Mack didn't have an answer that would make sense, because there is no logical explanation for murdering someone who just wanted to live in peace. But Deandra didn't stop at grief. She turned her pain into a warning, a message for anyone else trapped in a dangerous relationship. Everyone has to speak up when you see these red flags. You have to speak up. And then she said something that cuts deeper than anything else. She spoke up, but it wasn't enough. Girl, let that sink in. Jasmine did everything society tells domestic violence victims to do. She recognized the danger. She left the relationship. She protected her children. She spoke up, and it still wasn't enough to save her life. That's the brutal reality we don't talk about enough. Sometimes, doing everything right still doesn't protect you from a man who refuses to let you go. Christine Cody, Jasmine's makeup artist and friend since high school, remembered her the way everyone should remember her, not as a victim, but as the vibrant woman she was. Sweet, happy, loving, gentle, bright. That happy spirit who made people feel seen and valued. Jasmine loved singing background vocals at karaoke. supporting her sister's voice instead of demanding the spotlight. She loved her 3 children fiercely enough to walk away from a dangerous man. She loved her friends, her family, her life. And Carlton Mack took all of that away because his ego couldn't handle rejection. The Clinton community came together to mourn Jasmine. They shared memories. They posted videos of her singing on Facebook, that voice full of light that would never be heard again. They demanded justice. They called for accountability. And they echoed Deandra's message. Speak up when you see the red flags. But, moving on, we also need to ask harder questions. What happens when speaking up isn't enough? What happens when leaving doesn't guarantee safety? What happens when a man with a history of violence can still get his hands on a gun? Jasmin Singleton's murder isn't just a tragedy, it's a failure. A failure to protect a woman who did everything right. A failure to keep a violent man away from the person he'd already hurt before. A failure that cost 3 children their mother. The National Domestic Violence Hotline exists for people trapped in these situations. Resources exist. Shelters exist. Advocates exist. But none of that matters if the system allows dangerous men to walk free, to access weapons, to hunt down the women who dared to leave them. Jasmine's voice has been silenced. But her story needs to be heard. Not just as another statistic, not just as another news cycle that fades after a few days, but as a wake-up call. Because somewhere right now, there's another Jasmine. Another woman trying to leave a violent man. Another woman who's spoken up, who's asked for help, who's doing everything right. And we owe it to Jasmin Singleton, mother, sister, friend, the woman who sang background vocals and had her face sculpted by her best friend and loved her children more than anything to make sure her death wasn't in vain. So what now? We remember her. We honor her. We fight for the next woman who needs protection from a man who thinks love means ownership. And we never forget that Jasmin Singleton deserved to grow old. She deserved to watch her children graduate, get married, have children of their own. She deserved to keep singing, keep laughing, keep bringing that bright spirit into the world. Carlton Mack stole all of that. And for what? Because he couldn't handle being told no. Make it make sense. You can't, because it doesn't. Rest in power, Jasmin Singleton. Your light will not be forgotten. If Jasmine's story touched you, hit that like button. Subscribe to Shadowed Crimes TV, because we're not just telling stories, we're giving voices to those who were silenced. Drop a comment below. Share your thoughts. And if you or someone you know needs help, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7 at 1-800-799-7233. We'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there.